So our quest for a giant non-tip here in the Hunter Classic continues today here on Timbergold Trails. We've got the somewhat new wooden 308, and also we're switching it up, starting down here in the southwest. So this is where I start pretty much every live stream, and we've had a lot of live stream luck, and also, typically we find deer pretty quickly. Before I even got set up with the inventory and stuff today, we already had a buck run, so we're gonna jump in that stand, and hopefully he'll come in. And actually a pretty solid deer, 140 to 170 as our first buck of the hunt, and unlike starting up at one of the lodges, we're onto this in literally 5 minutes, as opposed to very often 20 or 30 till we actually get into mule deer territory. So often we're shooting like a couple of elk and stuff on our way down. This guy is at the very place that we're starting. Gonna drop in his tracks right there, and hopefully we can get on a bunch more bucks doing it this particular way. Like I said, we start literally every Wednesday night Classic live stream. If you didn't know, I stream the Hunter Classic every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. We start at this tent, and basically, depending on where other people are, because I host multiplayer, we do something approximating this, and then of course we fast travel around and stuff from there. So we're gonna give that route a try, and we'll see what it leads to. I don't know how we've gotten ourselves into this situation, but there's wolves just walking along right in front of us here. They're gonna spook either way, I think. So if we can somehow get a shot at one, and that might be a lot easier said than done. That one's getting awfully close. Will they spook before it gets out from behind that tree? Oh. Kind of brushy. Yeah, we didn't drop him. Might have just been... I don't know what we would have hit. Did we get above the spine? That can't be good. Well, great start to the hunt, but that's going to take some tracking. Well, I like the sound of that. That's back behind us, actually. That probably does two things. A, as there's a bear walking over there too, it gives us another opportunity to buck, but more importantly, B, by the time we call him in here and get him, that wolf should be down. This already has the makings of just one of those weird hunts. That is also a doe, and that's like straight in the direction the buck came from. Alright, got away with that. If it's 5, which it may well be, I just don't think there's anything we can do, but that doe's still coming in. No sign of the buck just yet. As long as the buck's probably like 60 or further, he shouldn't hear this. Cutting behind the tree. What a place to stop. Okay. I don't know how we didn't drop that. It might still not spook the buck. We'll wait. Yeah, sure enough. There's our buck. Another kind of decent one. 135 to 165. If he will, that's a perfect place to stop. No problem there. Of course, we gotta track a doe now, which is maybe more annoying than tracking down the wolf. But if we lung shot it, and I think we should have, but I really don't know what happened because I thought she would have dropped. Might not be too bad. So that was a double lung liver. That shot did feel a little bit back. 150 score. Got our first doe, which I guess really if we messed up this shot, it would have spooked the buck. So if there was one to mess up, it was this one. And real quick, it is lung blood. Let's mark the last wolf track, go track down the doe, and then get on the wolf. I promise it's going to be long dead by the time we get there now. You know, there are certain things that are just simply not worth it. There's a thing you can do, though, with the sunglasses, where you basically, like, I don't know how to say this, turn the sunglasses on and then back off, and it does highlight potentially dead animals. I don't know if that's our wolf or our doe. If it's not the doe, I'm not worried about it. All those tracks you see on the Hunter Mate just behind us there, they're all roaming tracks. That doe was hanging out in that area for apparently an hour, so depending on what the dead animal up there is, we'll go and check that out. But speaking of does, there's a bunch down there. First things first, got another buck up there somewhere. So buck number 3 got a huge kicker there, like right above his right brow tine. I think he has another sticker as well. 34 meters out now. I just heard a wolf. They won't spook the deer to run away forever, but they will kind of trot around in circles and stuff, so maybe the sooner the better on this. He is, or was, good and broadside. Yeah, there's that wolf right behind us, so he's stopping. He kind of knows we're here because we're crouching. That's a little more like it. So we'll grab him. We'll go and see what's going on over there, whatever's dead up on that hill. I kind of hope it's the wolf, frankly, because I'm really not that concerned about finding that doe. I don't know what we just spooked there, but either way, let's grab this guy. Got him double long at 28 meters. That's going to be a 124. Let's just cross. We'll go the same way he did. Yeah, go figure. That is not a dead wolf laying there. So I couldn't tell you how this doe got up here because I surely couldn't find the tracks. But I guess on the bright side, I'm not going to be leaving anything, at least for now. There's a 2.5 minute wound time for a single lung shot at 10 meters. And now we get to go back and get on the wolf track yet. That's a good looking deer. 165 to 195. And go figure, those wolf tracks are just getting older and older. I hope he doesn't pin us here because we're certainly not camouflaged. Super heavy too, 125 to 140 kilo. That would be max. As soon as he starts moving again, there we go. Even if they are going to pin you, when they're walking, you just have way more time to get the shot off. So let's go for that. We got does everywhere, but frankly, I am not worried about that. We still going to go back and get that wolf track. And at this stage, it probably should still be there. But it's getting pretty old. He's 126, so literally 1 kilo into that range. 188 though, pretty nice buck. First big frame. Let's get these markers out of the way. See if we can get to the wolf track without getting distracted. I was worried about that. Tracks are completely gone, so we kind of know they were going towards that stand. What a start to this hunt. It seemed like it was going to be so good. Buck right where we spawned, and it's been chaos ever since. If we can't find the tracks, that's fine. It's not a big deal. At least we'd be back onto hunting as opposed to tracking. So I believe we have a group of bucks coming in. That's another good one, 165 to 195. Same score estimate, by the way. The complete other end of the weight spectrum, only 90 to 105 kg. I had at least 2 grunts. So what I did was I put some scent out over there, and I'm hoping it's going to just hold them in place long enough to see whatever comes in. I kind of think it's actually just 2 bucks, so this is going to be interesting. Apparently our scent is behind some brush. Going for that shot quickly because we still had a little bit of the outline to aim at. Definitely got the better of the 2 bucks, and hopefully it was just 2 of them, but second pretty decent one already. It may have been spine. That was awfully high. Yeah, spine one indeed. That's what dropped him. 182 for him, so second biggest buck of the hunt. Is that the one that was with the buck we just shot? Might be. There's a track there. We're not calling or anything. He just kind of ended up here. May have spine shot him again, but we'll take it. No, I didn't see him acting nervous. Not. Oh, wait. Nope, that's not his track. Well, I guess we'll never know. There was blood there. I was trying to click on that. Was spine one again. 98 score for him. Doesn't really matter, but kind of nice to know what's around. And let's say they were just the 2 together, or really it'd be 2 solos that end up in the same place. Could confirm that. That almost looked like a buck. That was a buck. Came back at us. Not a very big one, but I don't know. I guess at least it didn't run the direction we're trying to go. So we've got a couple of different bucks coming in, and this particular tower is a rough spot. If they're down the hill, which of course this doe is, basically, like at 20 meters, you just hit the side of the tower, even if you're aiming over top of it. So that takes care of that. Hopefully the bucks make their way in. Maybe, because they're kind of far off yet. Oh, that one isn't. Oh my. There's quite a few around here. So forget the scent idea, although I wish I had done it. We might try to get an arrow in this one as soon as we possibly can. We're going to have to shoot them either way because the other bucks are way off. If we can somehow pull off a drop shot here, that other one that grunted might make it. There's that. Hope he didn't hear it. This is chaos. I think these are the bucks that we were initially calling in. So there's that one. I definitely saw the second one there. That's not super special. And I have no idea if the one that we heard grunt back here is actually still coming in. It may well be. And maybe we'll get to find out. Like, we'll definitely let a buck like this walk under our stand and potentially spook. There's more, though, so we got to keep an eye on that. There's the one that grunted. Once again, nothing even remotely special. So now it comes down to, what are we actually going to try to get out of here? I'm imagining it's 5 bucks together. It could be 3. And that one's so close, like he probably spooks. We might just go for this, see if somehow we get away with it. Gonna stop. Nothing spooked. I mean, he heard it. He was right on the edge of spook range. We'll just keep on calling, I guess. I actually say at this stage, maybe we try to take this one. Way more bucks, and instead, like, you know, we could add all their antlers together. And we're nowhere near that 400 non-tip that we want. That didn't spook the doe. More of those bucks, alright. And this may turn into a gun situation. We haven't actually used the 308 yet, so why don't we go for that? I thought that other buck was a little better. Climbing a tree. That'll drop him. You know, if that was a better buck, I might have wasted a shot going after him, but we'll just go ahead and try to claim everything here. By the way, speaking of 400 non-tips and what we're trying to get out here, I mentioned our Wednesday night live streams over on Twitch. We finally had a little bit more non-tip luck. Been a while, but it was worth the wait. A buck that I might see at 150 meters just standing there at 8 a.m. I can't see at 5. Oh, there he goes. That's a big old non-tip. No way. That's not a 400, but that's a 3. 300 all day. Bro, no shot. We really need to be moving towards him. That's him. He's there. Oh, wait a minute. He's hanging out. I see him. Oh my. What the heck? So there's 2 different bucks here. That would be our guy. That can be a 400 rack, by the way, but it needs to be super wide set, and it's the opposite. Oh, there he is. You see that tree moving? That's him. That's cool. We have 1 300 non-tip for sure. No, 2 actually, that I've shot with a bow, but I haven't shot any with the Flinter bow. I'll tell you what, I think 340 is going to be pretty close, but somewhere in there. Be a beautiful spot if we could drop me. You're going to stop right there. Doesn't see us yet, so we can take our time. There we go. Nice. Let's see. Anything cool yet? No, nothing at all. Dilly says 336. That's cool. Indeed. 347. Fingers crossed. Calculating. 363? Okay, that's bigger than I thought. That's literally 2 away from our PB. 154 CSS. Goodness gracious. It's so close though. Like, it's 37 away from being that 400. Not our biggest. It's our second biggest ever. But like I said, it's just, it can happen. You get one like this and you know it's not that far off. Okay. We're going to do a skull mount. I am skull mounting this one on purpose. I think that will work. Shows the Flinter bow, our first 300 plus non-tip with the Flinter bow, if I'm not mistaken. And definitely our biggest with it, no doubt about that. So he's no 400 incher, but man, 363, our second biggest ever. That is now the second time we've been within 40 inches of that 400. And I think I said it somewhere there in the clip. When you get ones like that, you get a big non-tip that just, that particular rack can be 400 if it's super wide set. It's typically in that 360 range though. It just makes you feel like one day it can happen. They're so insanely rare, like very few 400s get shot every single season in the Hunter Classic. Good thing we used a gun because liver intestine wouldn't have been great for that. But it really just revitalizes that drive to go and try to find one. Now unfortunately, what we're going to do instead is go and try to find this buck that we lung shot. This is the one that we neck shot. The lung blood's just down there. This guy, neckbone 2, 136 score. And this one, he won't have gone too far, but, you know, the less tracking, the better, obviously. So we actually need a little help from our buddy Razor here to find this one, but luckily, with a little bark in there, we did find our buck. Right lung, 16 meters, 94 score. Should have grabbed treats when we got out there, but I did not. So, suppose we'll bring him for the rest of this hunt. Who knows where that leads, but, gonna head up the river and maybe we'll need his assistance again. You know, I just had a thought here. You can see the green dot on my hunter mate. That's Razor laying just down there. That buck's walking at him. So first things first, probably we better drop him. Or at least try to, that'll work. I wanted to fast travel to one of our favorite spots. I did look at those elk, by the way. They're not that special. I want to fast travel there. Often there are deer right next to that tent. I think we better go up to this tent to our east, drop Razor off, and then fast travel. Otherwise, we could just spook stuff before we even get a chance to see them. Oh, there is a buck there, so I think we made the right call. It was a kind of decent looking deer, but certainly not huge. One of the reasons that I have pretty much exclusively trapper tents on this map is when you're in this situation, they're the only tents you can actually crawl up on the side of. So, looks like he's by himself. Definitely a good deer. Gonna be 195 to 220. Let's see if we can pop into that stand real quick. I'd say 200 easy. I really do think he's probably just like a 205 though. Perfect rack, like long beams, all that. I don't see a deduction in sight, so looks like he's gonna stop right there. If he stays there, we'll just go ahead and try to get this shot. Gonna grunt. We'll just kind of sneak that along the neck. And definitely our biggest buck this hunt. And go figure, I really would Razor have spooked him when we fast traveled? I don't know. But I think it was probably a good call to get him, you know, back at the other tent before we did that. So let's see, this guy we got long liver intestine, 204. Not too bad, pretty solid buck. And go figure, another nice typical here. On our live stream where we killed that big non-tip, we also had another quality kill. That buck doesn't look bad. I think we can get away with this. If I don't suck. Miraculous. Oh. It's a little better. No, not him. Ooh, 210 to 240, alright. I thought that was pretty nice. About the only way he was going to possibly survive that was to run right at me, and that's exactly what he did. Alright, so he had one short beam. I don't think he was, like, giant, but I don't know, 220? Somewhere in there? 229, so he was pretty much giant. I'll Euro mount that. It's basically 230. I'll take it. And of course, both of those now are skull mounts in our trophy lodge, and I think we're going to start to hunt our way back to that. So we'll do something kind of like this, loop our way around, see if we can find anything else along the way. Man, kind of lackluster, but nothing on our way back here, but it's not a huge surprise. We have 15 kills already, so I think a lot of the mule deer happen to be sort of in the early parts of our path, but the most important mule deer reside in here in our trophy lodge. Now, it does look like we have the texture issue not loading, but luckily the skulls all look pretty good. So this still remains to be a thing where, like, the pedicles don't quite match up with the base of the antlers. That is something that's going to get fixed eventually. So here we've got the 363. Again, where the antlers sit doesn't look quite right, but if we just sort of take the right angle where you can't see that as much, it is a pretty darn cool thing to have that in the trophy lodge. And then next to it, if we step over here, we have the 229. And a bunch of other ones as we go along. So something I did prior to this hunt was what I've kind of planned on from the beginning. Basically, deer skull, elk skull, deer skull, elk skull, all the way down. I love how that looks. We got to get the deer looking a little bit bigger. But I think that is pretty darn cool. Get some bigger non-tips, bigger, you know, 230-ish typicals again. This is such a cool thing to have in the game. Just the fact that we can do these Euro mounts, especially when they're, like, properly fixed, so the bases match the pedicles just right, is going to be such a cool thing. I love it, and it's one of the reasons, you know, we keep on chasing this 400 non-tip, and slowly but surely getting closer. That's the second closest we've ever been next to that guy right out there. By the way, this, I think, is our fourth with that rack, so that's why I decided to do a skull mount this time. Got another one over there, for instance. But when we can add these other really cool things to our trophy lodge along the way, it makes it easy to keep on going back and chasing that 400 time and time again. But on that note, that is going to do it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.